What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dragon's Den, and today we're going to talk about a card that originally I didn't really get the hype for, but now that I completely understand, it's busted. It's really busted. So, we're going to talk about Nadu, Winged Wisdom. It's a 3-drop legendary creature in Simic. It's 1 blue, 1 green, and 1 generic for a 3/4 flyer. A 3/4 flyer for 3 is pretty good on its own. And then it says, creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. This ability triggers only twice each turn. So, when I first saw this card, I was like, okay, what's all the hype about? Like, it's okay. It'll do a little bit. You know, my first thought was like, okay, so you play like, I guess, cheap little pump effects, and it draws you cards, and it ramps you or whatever, playing the pump spells and all that and everything, you know. All right. I was like, it's okay. It's nothing game breaking. And I see all these people online talking about how this is going to be like a new CDH, you know, mainstay. It's going to change the meta. It's going to be this super amazing overpowered card and everything else. And I just didn't get it until somebody finally pointed out how busted it is with 0 equip cost equipment. And it's even good with 1 cost equipment. So, say on your first turn, you play any sort of mana dork, and that'll be really easy to do, to play a 1-drop mana dork in green between like Llanowar Elves, Elvish Mystic, Birds of Paradise, Gilded Goose, you know, Fyndhorn Elves, a number of things. Really, really easy to play a first turn mana dork. And then let's just say on turn 2, you drop a Shuko. Okay. And I'm talking about in like a casual, regular, how most people are, you know, casual players are going to build the deck. Obviously, you can go off with this deck on turn 1 and CEDH with the right hand, and turn 2, and this thing's definitely going to win on turn 3 in CEDH every time if you don't stop it. But let's just talk about, you know, regular EDH. Okay, so you play your mana dork on turn 1. Turn 2, you play a Shuko. It's super simple. Equip creature gets +1/+0, and it has an equip cost of 0. Okay. Then turn 3, you play your commander. And then you can absolutely go off if you have anything that that has a landfall that makes creatures. So, at a minimum, your worst turn 4 is going to be playing a 3/4 flyer for 3 and drawing 4 cards in that scenario. That is ridiculous. Because you equip the Shuko to, say, your mana dork. Okay, it triggers. You look at your top card. Okay, it's a land, I'm going to put it into play. And it comes in untapped. And then you do it. Equip it to your commander. It's not a land, I'm going to put it into my hand. And if you get 3 lands at a minimum, or even enough to play another creature, say you have another mana dork or another cheap creature or something, that's crazy. And then say you get super lucky, right, in 3 out of the 4 lands, and you just so happen to have a Scoot Swarm in hand. Okay, well now I'm going to equip it to the Scoot Swarm. If I hit a single land, I'm making another creature. So I got 2 shots to hit a land, and you can run a high land count in this deck to make it more than likely you're going to be hitting lands on a regular basis. And then this is just going to keep getting out of hand and snowballing and snowballing and snowballing until you've just moved everything. And then on turn 3, potentially on turn 3, you are drawing your entire deck and putting every single land you have into play. And this is something that could pretty easily happen in a casual game. And let's just say you don't get super lucky and you do that. Like I said, at worst, you're drawing 4 cards on your 3rd turn with this commander. You know, it takes a lot for a card to get banned in Commander. It really does, because Commander has always been such a casual format focused on people having fun and playing cards that they like and doing fun, broken things. But this card, it has the potential to do it, to see the ban, just because it enables you so much. And I mean, I guess there could be fair ways to play the deck if you wanted to play cheap little pump effects and things like that and pump it up and try to make it like a Voltron kind of thing. That'd be about the only way this deck could even possibly be fair. And even then, it might still be ridiculously good. But just the fact that in these colors, and you can so easily just win the game on turn 3, even in a casual pod. Because, I mean, there's other things with 0 equip cost. There's plenty of equipment with 0 equip cost. So, you know, but even if it's 1 equip cost, you can still draw an insane amount of cards really, really quickly. So, I completely get the hype now, even though before I didn't. And I'm just going to say, you know, it's very, very possible that this card does see a ban in Commander. You know, and I definitely don't see this ever being something you see in a casual pod. You would have to really, really stretch and actively put things that hinder this Commander in your own deck to even try to make it casual. So if you ever see anybody roll up to a table and says, oh, I've got a casual Nadu deck, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, it's not a casual deck. It's just not a full-blown CEDH deck with, like, Mana Crypt and all these other, like, Force of Wills and things like that. But it could still very, very easily win on turn 3 or 4, even not being built as optimally as possible. And you talk about CEDH, I mean, this thing could get nuts super easy because of all the 0 cost mana, you know, artifacts and things you put in, and the lands. Like, okay, so you have pregame effect, Gemstone Cavern, you play your land for turn, you play a Mana Crypt and a Mox Diamond, and then you play out Skull Clamp and your Commander, and then you're already off to the races. It just, you know, CEDH, this thing is going to be an absolute powerhouse. And even in casual, this thing is going to just be a pub stomper for casual Commander. And I've noticed there's been sort of a trend with 3-cost Simic Legendary, you know, or just 3-cost Simic cards in general being extremely powerful over the last few years between Oko and Uro and now Nadu. So, you know, I finally get the hype behind this card, and I'm just really, really surprised that this made it through testing and everything, and that they released a card that's just this absolutely busted. And while I'm not necessarily calling for a ban in Commander, I would not be one bit surprised if this sees a pretty quick ban in Commander. So, I don't know that I would go out and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars building some crazy Nadu deck, because it wouldn't surprise me if a month from now they pull the trigger and this thing is gone, because it enables too much stuff too easily. So, if this is a Commander you're interested in playing, I would honestly suggest giving it a couple of months, because I think if they're going to ban it, it's going to be really quick, because it's obvious how broken it is right from the start. So I think if you wait a couple of months from now and then it's not banned, you'd be pretty safe to do it at that point. But until then, this is definitely not a deck I will be putting together until a few months has passed, because this thing is just absolutely busted, and there's no way, you know, something's not going to be done. So, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed, and